The circus factions, the great sort of supporters clubs associated with the Hippodrome of Constantinople, were major players in imperial politics, as well as major participants in the ceremonial and sporting life of the empire through events in the Hippodrome and the chariot races there. Their activities were also associated with considerable lawlessness. And in late 531, early 532, Justinian cracks down on rioting and lawlessness on the part of leaders of the circus factions by having the leaders of the two main factions, the Blues and the Greens, or at least some of their leaders, arrested and incarcerated. Essentially what we have here is an emperor who was in many ways drawn on the support of the Blue faction in particular to help stake his claim to power, now trying to put some distance between himself and what are regarded as potentially quite law-breaking or chaotic elements within a contemporary political society. Now, this arrest of the leaders of the circus factions goes down predictably very badly with the circus factions themselves, and the Blues and the Greens, the two most powerful of these factions, despite being bitter rivals, unite, and major riots break out on the streets of the capital to try to apply pressure on Justinian to release their leaders. Justinian holds firm, and the riots on the streets of the capital, in the Hippodrome, and crucially around the palace intensify. Witnessing this, elements within political society, elements within the Senate, elements within those more blue-blooded families that have never really felt that Justinian deserved a place on the throne, decide to try to take advantage of the mob of Constantinople and throw their support and weight behind the rioters, turning what has begun as an outbreak of civil disorder into a concerted attempt to drive Justinian from the palace and bring about a coup d'etat. And the rioters acclaim as a new emperor, a blue-blooded aristocrat who was a high-ranking member of the Senate of Constantinople, known as Hypatius. Justinian finds himself besieged in the imperial palace. The rioters are literally banging at the gates, with the new claimant to imperial power, Hypatius, amongst their ranks in the Hippodrome, which is next to the palace. We're told by one contemporary source that Justinian considers taking flight, thinking he's got no hope really, just trying to hold out in the palace, and that maybe he'd be better off relocating himself out of the capital and reconsolidating his regime elsewhere. The person who, according to one important source, prevents this from happening is his wife, Theodora, who tells him that the imperial office is a noble burial shroud and it's better for him to stand and fight rather than to leave the city in disgrace. Really strengthened and inspired, according to that one crucial eyewitness source, well, drawing on the testimony of someone who's probably in the court, Justinian decides to stand and fight. He gathers his most loyal generals around him in the palace, and he unleashes them with their military retainers against the rioters concentrated in the Hippodrome, and a massive slaughter takes place, with perhaps somewhere in the region of 30,000 rioters killed. It's possible that by the end of these civil disturbances, perhaps somewhere in the region of 3 to 5% of the population of Constantinople ends up being slaughtered. So the discontent of the circus factions has been taken advantage of by Justinian's political opponents within the Senate and beyond to try to drive him from the throne. There's a crucial moment when it looks as if they might succeed, but he just about manages to hang on, albeit he's only able to hold on through engaging in mass slaughter, really, at the heart of this great and supposedly Christian capital.